My name is Margaret Walsh, and I'm 72 years old. The silver hair you see wasn't always this color, it turned during the hardest year of my life. But that year also taught me something important. Sometimes the people we trust most are the ones who teach us our greatest lessons about strength. I married Robert when I was 23. He was handsome, ambitious, a real estate developer with big dreams. We built a good life together in Riverside, Connecticut, raised our daughter, Sarah, in a beautiful colonial home with blue shutters and a garden, tended every spring. 48 years of marriage. That's what I thought we had. Last autumn, I noticed Robert acting strangely. He'd take phone calls in the garage. He started wearing cologne again, something he hadn't done in years. At 70, he suddenly cared about his appearance in a way that made my stomach tighten. I told myself I was being paranoid. We were getting older together. That was supposed to mean something. Then came the afternoon that changed everything. I needed help moving some boxes in the attic, old photograph albums, Sarah's childhood artwork, the accumulation of decades. Robert was out, so I called Sarah. She came over within the hour, and we spent the afternoon sorting through memories. "Mom," she said, holding up a photo of us from 1985. "You and Dad look so happy." "We were," I said softly. "I thought we still were." She looked at me, then really looked at me. "What's wrong?" I hadn't meant to say anything, but daughters know. They always know. "I think your father might be seeing someone," I whispered. Sarah's face went pale. She set down the photograph and took my hands in hers. "Mom, I need to ask you something. The house on Maple Street, the new construction property Dad's been working on, do you know anything about it?" "Just that it's his latest project," I said. "He's been spending a lot of time there." Sarah's jaw tightened. "Mom, I need you to figure this out yourself. I can't just tell you. You need to see it with your own eyes, or you won't believe it." My heart started racing. "Sarah, what are you talking about?" "Go to the county recorder's office tomorrow," she said quietly. "Look up the deed for 847 Maple Street. Please, Mom, just do this for me." That night, I barely slept. Robert came home late, kissed my forehead like he had 1,000 times before, and fell asleep within minutes. I lay there in the dark, listening to him breathe, wondering who he'd become. The next morning, drove to the county office. My hands shook as I filled out the request form. The clerk was a young woman with kind eyes who probably wondered why someone my age looked so frightened. When she handed me the printed deed record, I had to sit down. 847 Maple Street. The beautiful new house Robert had been building for 6 months. The one he said would be their retirement project, something to flip for profit. The deed was in his name, and next to it, Cynthia Brennan, joint ownership. Filed 3 weeks ago. I sat in that government office and felt 48 years crumble around me. Cynthia was his secretary, 42 years old. I'd met her at the company holiday party, watched her laugh at Robert's jokes, never once imagining. But I didn't cry. Not yet. I drove home slowly, letting the truth settle into my bones. Robert had not only been unfaithful, he'd bought her a house. He'd literally built her a future while I waited at home, tending my garden, planning dinners, believing in us. When I walked through our front door, I saw everything differently. The furniture we'd chosen together, the walls we'd painted, the life we'd made. And I realized something powerful. This was my home too, my investment, my 48 years. That's when the plan began forming. I called my lawyer, Patricia Chen, a sharp woman who'd handled our wills years ago. Over coffee at her office, I laid out everything. She listened without judgment, took careful notes, and then looked up at me with something like admiration. "Margaret, you have options here. Good ones." We spent weeks preparing quietly. I documented everything: Robert's strange hours, his credit card statements showing jewelry I'd never received, dinner reservations at restaurants we'd never visited together. Patricia helped me understand Connecticut's divorce laws, property rights, and what 48 years of marriage meant legally. Then came the gathering of documents, our joint bank accounts, investment portfolios, the deed to our house, the one I'd lived in for 43 years, property records, business papers. I had built a life too. I'd raised our daughter while Robert built his career. I'd managed our home, hosted his business dinners, supported every dream he'd ever had. The law recognized that contribution. Before you confront him, Patricia advised, make sure everything is protected. So I did. I transferred my fair share of our liquid assets into an account he didn't know about, completely legal, according to Patricia, given what was happening. I secured copies of everything. I prepared, and then I invited Robert to dinner. I made his favorite meal, pot roast with roasted vegetables, just like his mother used to make. I set the table with our good china. I even opened a bottle of the expensive wine he liked. He came home smiling, probably relieved I seemed normal again. This is nice, he said, sitting down. What's the occasion? I wanted to talk about our future, I said calmly. He relaxed. Sure, honey. What's on your mind? I took a sip of water. I know about Cynthia. I know about the house on Maple Street. I know about everything. The color drained from his face. Margaret, I can explain. I don't need explanations, I interrupted, my voice steady. I need you to understand something. You thought you could build a new life while keeping this one as backup. You thought I'd never find out, or if I did, I'd be too afraid to do anything about it. It's not like that. I've filed for divorce, I continued. My lawyer has documented everything. Your gifts to Cynthia, the house you put in both your names, your financial misdirection. Connecticut sees things clearly when it comes to marital assets and infidelity. Robert's face went from pale to red. You can't do this. I already have, I said. You're going to discover that 48 years of partnership means something in this state. You're going to learn what it costs to betray someone who stood beside you for half a century. He tried arguing. He tried apologizing. He even tried crying. But I'd found something in that county office. Something more valuable than revenge. I'd found my spine. The divorce took 8 months. It wasn't easy. Robert fought hard, but Patricia fought harder. In the end, the settlement was substantial. Our house became mine entirely. Half of everything he'd built, I'd built too. The court saw it. The law protected it. As for the house on Maple Street, Robert and Cynthia discovered that building a relationship on betrayal makes for a shaky foundation. Last I heard, they'd split up, and he'd had to sell the property at a loss to cover his legal fees and settlement obligations. Sarah helped me redecorate our house, my house now. We painted the bedroom a soft sage green. I turned Robert's office into an art studio. The garden I'd always tended became more beautiful than ever. On my 73rd birthday, Sarah took me to lunch. Mom, I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of me too, I said, and I meant it. People sometimes ask if I regret the years with Robert. I don't. They gave me Sarah. They taught me about resilience. They showed me that even at 72, you can start again. But the real lesson came from something unexpected. When I needed help that day in the attic, when I called Sarah and she came, that was love. Real love. The kind that tells you hard truths because it wants you to be free. Robert taught me about betrayal, but Sarah taught me about courage. And the house? It's filled with peace now. New memories. Laughter again. Sometimes people think that at our age, we should accept things, stay quiet, keep the peace. But I learned something different. I learned that dignity has no age limit, that standing up for yourself is never too late. The silver in my hair might have come from pain, but it also came from wisdom. I'm Margaret Walsh. I'm 73 years old, and I'm finally, truly home. Sometimes, the greatest act of love is loving yourself enough to walk away from what hurts you. Sometimes the greatest revenge is simply living well.